Welcome back to the Naked Lens podcast. I'm Viviana Taroni, and today we're going to be talking about things that aren't really talked about in the modeling world, or things that are kind of hush in the photography and modeling world. So what I mean by that is we're going to talk about investing into your craft. We're going to talk about the very dark blacklist and how to stay off the blacklist and how to put yourself right onto that blacklist. So I do want to talk about things that I'm doing and in the industry and in the craft, because I feel like I always just jump into something. So I want to tell you guys a little bit more because I talk to all of you on DM a lot, and at this point I feel like we're friends. So we're just on a little yap call right now, and I want to let you know what I'm doing. So actually last week I had a few photo shoots. Yesterday I did a maternity photo shoot, which was super cute. I love a good maternity photo shoot. And then I also did somebody's prom photos, which was really cute. The family was so sweet. And I actually ran into another photographer while I was out there, and I had a great conversation with him. So shout out to that. That was really enjoyable. What else have I done? Oh my gosh. I'm planning a shoot right now with Morgan, and we have 4 amazing models lined up for this. It is very feminine, very European, Brazilian, Thailandic, I don't even know if that's the right word, vibes. And I'm so excited for it. She is designing all of the bikinis for this photo shoot, and we are converting an entire pool, and it's gonna be really good. I'm very excited. The model lineup is killer. This is going to be done the day after the launch party. So this will all be done the day after the launch party. So we have a lot of work to do. We got launch party. It's basically like a bender weekend just for photography. So I'm super excited. After we do the brand shoot with our models, we're actually going to be taking a separate set of models, and one of them, including myself, gotta get in front of the camera, to the beach, and we're going to do a separate segment over at the beach because guys, I found out today that I made the Morgan Glenn Hall of Fame, and there's a bikini named after me. So I was like, no, I'm going to have to model in my bikini. It's not my bikini, but I'm going to have to model in my bikini, the Viviana bikini. And bikini inspired by me, a little low-waisted shorts, because I love a little low-waisted shorts moment with, bikini, make the girls look nice, because we didn't pay for nothing. So yeah, I'm super excited to go out there and shoot all of her bikinis. She's amazing. She's going to swim week. If you didn't watch the last episode, I had mentioned that she's going to swim week for that. So swim week's coming up. She's preparing. We got a whole bunch of bathing suits. And I also want to know if you're going to swim week, please let me know, because I think we're also going to be planning on shooting during swim week. We talked about doing a little boat concept. So yeah, let me know if you're going to be there, because I think we're going to try and do some more shoots down there, because why not? We're crazy, and it's always crazy when me and her are together, because it's very go, 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 and we consistently push each other to do more things and get out of our comfort zone. I have no idea where I planned on going with that, but I think that's a good enough update for you guys. So let's get into the podcast. Let's get into it. I wanted to talk about investing in your craft as a model, because as photographers, obviously, we drop so much money into our craft. I mean, it's so funny to me when people are like, oh, how much is your camera? And it's like, the camera, didn't come with the lens. And then they find out that the camera didn't come with the lens. And it's just this whole big, what do you mean you paid more for your lens than you did for the body of the camera? What do you mean you have multiple lenses? So, you're deep in that hole. You are deep in that hole. I don't even want to know how deep I am into my craft and how much money I've spent on camera equipment. So with that said, when models are like, oh, you're too expensive, or I can't afford that, it's okay, I completely understand, but also guys, I'm probably 15, 20 grand in the hole. I do need compensation for what we're doing. And like, obviously, if you're really, really taking this seriously, then you do have to invest in a photographer that suits you and the path that you want to go on. How do we do that? How do we find a photographer that fits what we want to do, right? I know this is kind of contradicting myself because I said don't narrow yourself down, but ultimately have a vision of where you want to go. Do you want to do high fashion? Do you want to do magazines? Do you want to do more of an editorial? Do you want to do cinematic? Because I have a lot of you that come to me with like these ideas and these concepts, but it's like your portfolio has so many different things on it, and I don't know what direction you want to go in. So having that sense of like, I want to do this, I want to be this is where I want to be, that lets me have the mindset of like, okay, I might be the perfect photographer for you. I might be able to teach you how to pose. I'm going to teach you how to, look angelic if you're going for more of a cinematic way. I'm going to have you, be more bratty and pouty if you want to go into more like high fashion look, whatever. So finding the photographer that fits you is crucial to your craft, because your craft is your resume. If your Instagram has like a whole bunch of different, themes and things going on, and then like one moment it's like a really crappy bathroom picture, or like, just something random, and then it's like a really high quality fashion image, it's kind of like going back and forth, so we don't know what direction you want to go in. So being open and clear to what route you want to go allows the photographer to also know like, hey, I'm actually going to be a perfect fit for you, or I actually don't think I'm going to be a perfect fit for you. But you also have to like find the photographers that aren't just money grabbing, because there's a lot of photographers that will like actually just take on anything and anyone. If somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, I want, this type of photo, and it's like a techie outside, and I'm like, or like really dark nighttime photo shoot, I'm like, that's not really what I do. I'm going to pass them on to somebody else that I know can do it. I'm not just going to be like, hey, let me take your money and give you shit quality images, when that's not something I do. So finding somebody who's actually going to steer you in the right direction of where you need to be is something that you need. But unfortunately, a lot of photographers will money grab and say they can do it when they actually can't. So for that, I advise you to go through their Instagram, see who they're working with, see what kind of quality of work they're putting out, see their style of work, and then message them. Or, it doesn't hurt to be like, hey, I know this isn't something you do. Can you recommend me to somebody that does this style of work? Okay, perfect. I'm going to recommend you to somebody that I trust, or somebody that I've seen do the type of work that you want to do. So that doesn't hurt as well. Okay, so then this also leads into quality over quantity. One high quality shoot, or one shoot that you can tell like you put your all in and the photographer put all of their time in, is so much better than you just randomly like popping up on people's page and it be like a random out of pocket off brand for yourself shoot. If you know that the shoot is like low budget, which is fine if the shoot is low budget, you can still manage with low budget. I do low budget stuff. But if the images and the quality of the work are not there, it's kind of just like, it makes it seem like you as a model are just money grabbing at that point, because you're just like hungry for literally anything you can get. You just throw yourself out there for whoever, and unfortunately, like, I feel like that hurts you. I feel like as a model, taking on projects that don't fit you and brand you the way you want to be seen don't help you. So you need to actually like look at their work, make sure you like it, and not just be like, oh yeah, I worked with 40 photographers last week, and maybe out of the 40, one of them is good. What did you just do? You just you low-key wasted your time, and you're putting a lot of work and a lot of pressure on yourself to be doing all these shoots when you really only need one amazing, great shoot. Even if you invest in that shoot, to allow yourself to grow and let yourself be in the direction, at least, of where you want to go. Now that we kind of understand why investing in a photographer and finding the right photographer is good for you and your brand, let's talk about this whole like blacklist and how to kind of stay off the blacklist and just things to remember as a model, because I feel like sometimes people who are getting into the industry don't really know like what is disrespectful in a sense to do with your images, or just like with the whole shooting process in itself. Number one, I have a list for you, actually. Ghosting on shoots. Why does this happen? Honestly, this hasn't happened to me in a really long time. But ghosting on shoots is a huge thing. If you confirmed a session with somebody and then you just like disappear, like no call, no show, congratulations, you put yourself on the do not work with again list, and photographers will talk about it and it will spread like wildfire. So if you are committing to somebody, actually commit to it. If it's not going to work, at least let them know like 48 hours in advance so they can try and find a model for this, because they might have put, they might have dropped like $200 on this shoot. They might have dropped $100. Even if they dropped $50, even if they dropped no money, they still probably drove out to the location. They did everything. They were super excited for the shoot. And now like you're not there. And it's like, why? Like, that was kind of just, like, disrespectful. Now, I totally understand if, like, somebody gives you weird vibes and you're just like, no, and then you just, like, end up not showing up to the shoot. Fine. But in the case that it's not a creepy man or a creepy person trying to get you to go to a warehouse and they freaked you out and then you don't show up, please text your photographers that you're not going or that you need to reschedule, because it's just, like, one of those things that is so annoying. Second thing. Showing up unprepared. If you show up, I think I've talked about this before, but like if you show up no makeup when you agree to like show up in makeup, if you show up messy with like messy hair, a wrinkled outfit, like showing up unprepared just shows like you actually give zero fucks. Like it's insane if a photographer is not charging you and you reached out to them and then all of a sudden like you show up and you're just like, hey, I'm here, and it's like totally unprepared. You didn't even bring the outfits that you guys talked about. You didn't bring any props, or you didn't bring anything. It's one of those things where it's just like, okay, so like why am I here? Because I've invested my time into you and then you were inconsiderate and didn't invest your time back into me. It also works like, this might be a hot take, but if I'm doing a collab with you, I expect you to get the outfits that you need for the photo shoot. I will help you. I will dig through my closet to try and find something that will work, and I will dig through your closet also to try and find something that works so we can save money. But if I'm shooting something for free and you came to me for something, then I expect you to go out and buy the $5 tank top that I need you to buy, or you know what I mean? Like, it's just little things. Like, if I'm covering $400, $200, $100 in props, I expect you to go out and buy, maybe a $10 shirt and $30 pair of jeans. Like, I don't understand why people expect like, oh, like I'm shooting for free, you need to be buying my stuff. And it's like, okay, but I'm also shooting for free and I'm spending all this money on props and stuff. So I think there's like a little bit of, compensation and like give and pull. And I think that also has to do with like, if you're doing a collab, like if you don't put any effort into it, it's like, this is not a collab. Like, this is not a collaborative effort as a team. And I think we have to remember that like either of us don't have to be there. And that like goes for, like if you're a model and you're doing all this stuff and then the photographer shows up with nothing. But, it's just, like, one of those things. It's just, like, kind of icky. And I'm just, like, it makes me not want to work with you. Because I'm, like, you put zero effort into this. I put 100% into all of my shoots all the time. So when I see somebody not putting 100% in, it's like, okay, I actually, like, don't really think I want to shoot with you again. So, yeah. Showing up unprepared and not caring is a great way to never get booked again. The next one is bringing an entourage without notice. I love when people bring a friend or like maybe even two friends. if they really need to, like boyfriend and best friend, that's fine. I love vibing with a group of people. I'm not socially awkward. I actually love being in a group. So I recommend that. Bring somebody for you. Be safe, feel safe, enjoy the environment, have a hype team. I love it. Do it. But what we're not going to do is show up with mom, dad, sister, brother, best friend, second best friend, third best friend, boyfriend, and I don't know, anybody else. Because it's just not needed. It's a distraction at that point. It's, it's just like, it's too many people and it's too many opinions. Let's say that. If you're bringing multiple, like a group of people, there's too many opinions because I'm going to try and pose you. I'm going to be showing you how to pose. And then let's say boyfriend's like, oh, actually, I don't like that. And then best friend might be like, oh my God, I love that. And then now you have boyfriend and best friend arguing. And I'm trying to pose you because I know it looks good and I can actually see the photo. And it's just like this whole big thing. And it's like, okay, like I actually want to leave. Like as a photographer, I'm like, please let me go. Like the girls are fighting. I want to go home. It's just annoying because like everything just starts like contradicting itself. Like I'll be like, okay, turn your head this way. And then your friend will be like, no, turn your head this way. And I'm like, okay, guys, like, you can't see anything. Like maybe the lighting is off that way, or maybe I'm trying to capture something in the background. Like it's just a lot. And I feel like when you add multiple people to the mix and you start bringing a whole bunch of people in, it just becomes messy and it's just annoying. All right. The next one is being chronically late. If the photographer's like already set up or like been there and you're like walking in like an hour and a half late, like just say you actually hate me. Like just say you don't care. Like, I just feel like that's so annoying, and yes, I get things happen, like, if, maybe an accident happened on I-4 and you get stuck, whatever, you can't control that. But if you're like, oh, like, my makeup, like, I just, like, didn't prepare it enough in time, whatever, it's just like, okay, so you aren't taking my time into consideration. Like, you're not taking my time into consideration, and I might be doing this for free, or I might be doing this for a discounted rate, or even if I'm charging you full price, it's still disrespectful for you to just show up late and just be like, oops, sorry, because I don't do that to you. So yeah, I think that's a crazy thing. Another thing is ignoring agreements or mood boards. If the shoot is high fashion and you show up in like a bikini and you're talking about like, I thought we were doing swimwear, or like I thought it would be better to do this. Like, huh? What? If you're paying for the shoot, like, okay, maybe bring the outfit you agreed on and then also be like, hey, like I thought this might be cool. But like at least give warning, like day of, like if you're trying to switch something, because again, like we are doing so much to create this set, or at least I'm doing so much to create a set to fit the aesthetic and the mood board that we agreed on. So if you show up in like if we're doing a cinematic shoot and we agreed on like neutral colors, very airy, blown out hair, makeup is more natural looking, and then you show up with like dark grunge makeup on and like, high tall boots, and it's like, so actually like where did we get lost? Where did we get lost in this? Because again, now my entire setup makes 0 sense and I might have spent money into it, which is most likely what happens. So if you think about changing your concept, at least know like a week before, and like very last minute, if you have to change it, then notify them and just be like, hey, I want to go into a different direction with this. Is it too late to change it, or can we change it, or should we reschedule? I'd rather somebody say that to me than show up to the shoot completely different than the mood board and be like, oh, like I actually decided that I wanted to be a little bit grungy today instead of cinematic. Because then it's like, okay, that's great. I love that for you. But now the entire set does not work. Like, it just doesn't work. So now I have to sit there and be like, okay, let's take this back 20 steps. And now let's say an hour shoot turns into a 2-hour shoot, because now it's like, we don't know what we're doing. And we have to completely like change course. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. Do not change course. Actually show up in your agreed upon outfit and mood board and makeup, because it's just going to throw everybody off if you don't, and you're definitely going to end up on the blacklist, because like if you tried to pull that with like a brand, like a high-end brand that you booked, you're definitely on the do not work with again. Like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, people who haven't worked with like brands and stuff, if you show up like late, if you show up in different makeup, different hair, if they told you not to wash your hair and you show up in wet ass hair, consider your entire career like gone with them. Like, there's just no way. Like, nobody would ever consider booking you again for that shoot or for that company. And what do you think that company's gonna do? Talk. They're gonna talk. They're gonna, everything spreads like wildfire. Everybody knows everybody in this industry. So just keep that into consideration when working with people who aren't a brand company, but even those little photographers that you guys, all of us are creators or whatever. Some of us little photographers have amazing connections in the industry, and you don't want to ruin. You don't even want to ruin it with them, because you also never know where they're going to be. I'm a firm believer of never like leaving things off at bad terms, because you just never know who's going to be above you at some point in your life. Like, you just genuinely don't. Like, somebody might be your boss. You never know. So why are we going to be rude? Why are we going to be snooty? Why are we going to do all of this stuff? Why are we going to leave things on bad terms? Because you just never know who's going to be above you in something. So that's a little thing to think about. Don't cut ties. Be very respectful. And you never know where that person's going. You never know what connections they have. So be careful with your words. Choose wisely. Choose wisely with your actions. And go from there. But that is what I have to say about that. All right, so another blacklister is being a freaking diva on set. I'm a diva. I love a good diva. I'm not gonna lie. I love a good diva. But a good diva and a bad attitude does not serve. But if you're a good diva and you're serving diva, it's great. I hope that made sense. Basically, what I'm saying is, do not come on set with a tude. If everybody's in a good mood and you come with a tude, I'm going to remember that. And that's actually something that I'm going to mention to other people that I work with. So be happy. Don't come with a tude. If you know you get hangry, please let me know during the shoot, because me too. You can have a second. You can grab water. You can grab food. You can literally do whatever you need to keep yourself in a happy mood. I have no problem with that. I'd rather us take 10, 15 minutes on set than you be angry and unhappy. So yeah. Show up day of without an attitude, be a correct diva, and serve. Don't serve attitude. Serve face. So yeah, that's another thing to remember. And yeah, don't end up on diva blacklist. Last and final thing that I have on this list, and a huge hitter in this industry to get yourself immediately thrown on a blacklist and yeah, just like canceled, is misrepresentation of work. If you are altering an image that a photographer gave you, or, asking for raw images, it's almost like as if you're like taking the knife and just like stabbing us. Because we've worked really hard on those images. We feel like that's a great representation of our work, and that's the final product that we're giving you. So, let's put this into different terms. If I am an artist, if I'm a painter and I just painted the Mona Lisa, and then you like literally grab the paintbrush and you're like, oh, but it could use this, and then you just splatter paint all over it, it's like, oh, thank you. Like, that's not the image that I wanted. That's not what I wanted, and now that's what I have, and now we can't change it because you might have just posted it. So take it into consideration like that. Also, another way that I would describe altering a photographer's image is or asking them to alter a final image is like me coming to you as a model, and not even me coming to you. Like, if you posted something and you slapped a filter on it, my way of how this would feel to you guys is like, if I captured an image of you and I posted it and you're like, wait a second, I don't look like that. And then, you know what? You know what I did? I altered your nose. I altered your eyes. I made you slimmer. I might have made you thicker. I might have, you know what I mean? It's like altering you. That is your image. That is the way you look, and now I altered it. So if you're taking a photographer's work and you're altering their image, it's just not nice. And it's just like kind of like, what are you doing? Because we spent so much time on that. You guys spend so much time on the way that you look and how you want to look in a photo shoot. So when you're altering something that we've done and we've put a lot of hard work into it, and then you go and like slap something on it, it's like a literal slap in the face, because it's just like, oh, thank you, like now I know that you did not consider me or my feelings, and you wouldn't like it if you went on Instagram and you had an entirely different nose. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. And I think that's a great way to describe how it feels to a photographer when you go and you alter their work. So don't do it. You're going to get blacklisted. You're probably going to get canceled. And if I'm a brand, or if I'm like, if somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, did you work with so-and-so? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, how was your experience? And you altered my image. I'd be like, oh, like, they're a great model. I could see them going super far, but this is what they did. This is what they did. They altered my image. And I give them the rundown, and they're probably going to be like, oh, you know what? I don't want my like, just altering an image is enough for a brand to be like, no. You don't get to choose what images the brand puts out or how they edit the images. You don't get a say in it. So you don't have a say in what the photographer gives you finally. I have no problem like altering an image if it needs to be altered, or if like you see something that's wrong, then I'm like, oh, okay, like that's wrong, you're right, let me change it a little bit. But I'm not going to change the entire picture. I'm not going to change the entire edit. I'm not going to slap like a bright yellow preset on it because you want bright yellow. Like, it's just not how it works. So don't do it. It's not how it's going to work in the big industry if that's where you're going, and it's not going to work in the industry, the smaller community photographers and stuff. So don't do it. If you want to go somewhere, it's a great way to get blacklisted. And again, like I said before, you don't know who knows who and what connections they have. So be careful. Don't edit anybody's work. Talk to the photographer if you're really like, okay, my skin is like really, really yellow in this. Can we please tone it down? Then it's like, okay, fine. Maybe don't say really, really, but just be like, hey, my skin looks a little off. Like, can we alter it a little bit if you don't mind? Coming to somebody respectful is fine. If you're like altering it just to like fit something, it's just like okay, well, like if this was a brand, then you know, like this wouldn't fly. So don't do it with small community photographers. So that's my rant on that. Also, I lied, that's not the last thing. Another thing to get blacklisted for is taking images with a photographer, or just like in general, and the photographer goes and like posts them online, and then you're like, hey, I actually don't like the way I look in these photos. Or like day of photo shoot too, like if they're showing you the gallery, you're just like, oh, I actually don't like these, can we just like not post them, or like can we delete them, or like can I just not do anything with them? Then it's like, I just spent so much time like putting my work out there and like getting all the props, getting all of this and that, and it's like, if you don't like the way you look, or if something happens, like, then in the most respectful way, like maybe don't get in front of a camera right away. Build your confidence, boost your confidence, and then go into the camera. Because again, if you're taking pictures in the industry world, if you're feeling a little bit off that day, the brand's not going to be like, oh yeah, we're not using these images. Like, you don't have a say in that. You signed the contract, you did what you did, you took the photos, and now the photos are theirs. So whatever they do with that is their choice. So that's another way to get blacklisted. Don't do it. I don't think it's nice. And I just think it just doesn't put a great representation on you and your brand. With that said, things to do right, honestly. Just be a professional. You know, this is a business. Show up on time, communicate clearly, and treat it like it's a job, because it is a job. It is your job. Respect the photographer's work. Give credit when posting. Don't slap random presets on there. Ask before altering an image if you feel like you absolutely need to alter the image. Network the right way. Photographers love working with models. They love getting recommendations. We talk all the time. I'm sure models talk all the time about the photographers they work with. So just remember that the way that you put out words and the way that you act is the same way that, you know, the other person is too. So do what you want with that. And always like just keep the drama at home. Like there's just no need. We all love a little drama. We all love a little gossip, and that's fine. But if you're gonna like completely like shit on somebody and they've done nothing to you, or you're gonna make up stuff, just like don't say anything because it hurts them. Like it hurts that brand and that company. What did we learn today? What did we learn today? We learned that if you want to build a lasting model career in the industry, don't be a model that gets talked about for the wrong reasons. Show up, communicate, and respect the process. It's literally simple as that. And, just be considerate. Research your photographers. Look at their work, look at their editing style, look at where you want to be. If you want to do magazines, maybe you're going to book with somebody like me because I do more elaborate shoots. I do very, out there type of photo images. But if you want to do more like studio work, then find somebody who does studio work. If you want to just do like digital type stuff, like branding campaigns, then that's fine. Find a photographer for that. Don't be shy to ask photographers for other photographers that might fit your image well. And if you're a photographer, don't money grab. It's annoying. It's stupid. If it's not what you do, don't do it. You're wasting somebody else's time. Be communicative, be clear, and be authentic because that's what we need in this industry. With that said, I think we're going to end on that note. I hope you found that helpful. If you have any stories, please DM me. I definitely want to maybe go through portfolios and give my opinions on them. Or I still want to do my horror stories episode. So, we'll see how that goes. I'm going to be recording with Morgan soon. So I'm very excited for that. And I'm also going to be filming with Kay soon. So I'm also excited for that. But for now, I'm going to end it there for this week, and I will talk to you guys next week. 1 week closer to the launch party. I should do karaoke with this microphone.